Hello, Sarah here from Sarah Liz Fiber Arts. I have a fun pocket tutorial for you today. A little while ago, I shared on Instagram a reel of adding this pocket after my cardigan was fully finished, but I used a crochet hook to get it cast on to my needles for knitting the pocket. All right, this will work best either on circular needles like mine or double pointed. You don't want any of the traditional straight needles. You will also want a couple of stitch markers to mark where we're putting your pocket. I'm going to be starting my pocket right here. I need 18 stitches for my pocket, so we're going to start counting this one as 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, 18. So you're going to count how many stitches you need plus 1. I'm going to go one more and mark that plus 1 stitch, that 1 extra stitch. All right, you're going to grab your yarn. Go ahead from the back here first into that marked extra stitch. You're going to pull through your yarn tail, and you're going to leave quite a bit of a yarn tail here at the bottom. This is where your working yarn comes up and where you're going to start going back and forth to make the pocket. All right, got your needle, got your crochet hook. You're going to go through the front of your knit stitch. You're going to go in the middle of that V. That's where you're going to be inserting your hook to get a seamless pocket bottom. Insert your hook down, leave a decent amount of a tail end so we can sew up the pocket at the end. Grab the yarn and slip it onto your needle. Go ahead and pull it a little bit, not super tight, but just enough so that it doesn't fall off your knitting needle. Now this is the important part to remember. Tail yarn goes on the side. Working yarn on that side. We are going to be pulling up from the working side, not the tail end side. Find the next stitch over. Make sure you're going straight across, not up or not down. Straight across. Pull up the working yarn. You'll notice I twist here to put it onto my needle this way. I do not purl under. I know some do. If you purl under, you're going to want to twist it the other way so that you have your stitch legs on the correct side. Move on to the next one. Insert your hook. Again, careful to pull from the working yarn, not the tail end. And pull it not super tight. Again, don't want to mess with your tension, but enough so you're not slipping off. And repeat. You're going to keep going down until the last stitch. So go ahead and give it a pause. Cast on your stitches here by pulling up from your working yarn, and I will meet you to do the last stitch. All right, we're near the end here. We have our last stitch here, and then we have our extra stitch that we marked here. Don't go into this stitch. We're finishing our last cast on right here. Also for this one, you want to make sure that you're grabbing from the working yarn that's been coming across here, not from this yarn that you've pulled through at the very beginning. All right, have my last one on. Now we're going to pull any extra that we have left. And there we have it. We have the correct number of stitches that we need casted on. This will be a nice seamless way to add your pocket from the bottom up. For this pocket pattern, we're doing stockinette, so I will start with a purl side and then back to a knit side. All right, here we have our casted on stitches. Here we have our working yarn, and I'm ready to start my purls. These stitches might be a little loose here from the beginning. That's okay. We can give our tail end a little tug tug and it'll be just fine. All right, we're back on the knit side. Knit this row. And you're just going to go back and forth until you have the correct number of rows or however deep you like your pockets. So I'll meet you back there. Okay, your pocket flap is now done. I like to put ribbing at the top of my pockets or whatever your pattern calls for. After you bind off, leave a nice long tail for sewing on your pocket. For this tail that we started with, we're going to bring it up to the front, get it onto your needle. Now we want to make sure we don't come up through this stitch that we started on, otherwise it'll start unraveling your work. So we're going to come up just to the side of it here. Coming up to the side of it because we went in here first. So we're coming up just to the side. All right, I'm going to remove that stitch marker now that I don't need it. How I like to attach mine is by coming through the side of the stitch. This is where we started, so we're going to go right up this line and we're going to go on the right leg of this stitch and connecting it with the next leg of your pocket. Just a quick little whip stitch here, grabbing the next stitch and pulling tight. Go ahead and give it a pause and finish up that right side, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I finished this pocket, weaved in the ends, and then I used this stitch marker, counted up how many rows my pocket flap is, so I know where to start coming back down. I like to go on the left side leg of this column of stitches. We'll go ahead and take that stitch marker off. Get it through our stitches here. I like to go through a few times at the top to make sure that top of the pocket is fully secure. Okay, and then you can work your way down, grabbing that left leg of the knit stitch there and going through the side of your pocket. Go ahead and repeat all the way down and I'll meet you at the end. All right, second side is done. Now you have a lovely pocket. Really nice seamless bottom there. We attached to the sides. Now you've just added a pocket to your cardigan. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe for more knitting and crochet content and patterns.